English Story B1 Simon's Savings. Simon has never been very good with his money. He got a part-time job as soon as he was 16. He worked Saturdays and Sundays at the local shopping centre. He was a sales assistant at a bookshop. He earned around £250 a month, and yet he never had any money. He spent it all on socialising with his friends, going to gigs, and paying for driving lessons. His passion was music, and whenever his favourite bands had gigs in the neighbouring city, he would go. Sometimes the tickets were as much as £100 each, but he didn't care. He loved to see live bands and hang out with his friends. As soon as he was 17, he got his provisional driving licence. His parents paid for his first 10 lessons for his birthday present. After that, he paid for them. It was expensive. He passed his driving test the second time. Then, of course, he wanted a car. When Simon turned 18, he started university. He decided to stay and live at home while he was studying. He did this to try and save some money. Instead, he spent his student loan on a car, clothes, and, you guessed it, more partying. Simon really enjoyed the student lifestyle. He worked very hard and studied a lot, but he also loved to party. While he was at university, he worked an extra day a week, and throughout the holidays, he would work full time. He managed to save a little money, but everything he saved he spent on concerts and holidays with his friends. He really wanted to go travelling after university, but he knew he didn't have the money. So he sat down and made a budget. He worked out how much money he could earn and how much he would need if he was going to go to Australia for a year. He planned to work in Australia, but he would still need money for flights, insurances, and accommodation. He decided that he would need to work full-time for 6 months after finishing university. Simon asked his manager if that would be possible, and they said yes. Simon took on all the extra hours he could. He stopped going to as many gigs and tried not to spend as much money. He set himself a budget every month for partying, gigs, petrol for his car, and paying his parents some money towards food. He felt very lucky that his parents were so happy to have him at home. He liked living with them, and it was much better for saving money. He started taking out money from the bank every month, and he put it into envelopes for each of his budgets. Once the money was gone, that was it. Anything that was left in his bank account was going to be used towards his travelling adventure. Simon really wanted to spend his money. As the saying goes, it really burnt a hole in his pocket. It was very difficult for him to leave the money in his bank account, but he knew it was the only way to help him save enough cash for Australia. As the months passed, Simon's bank balance got bigger. He had never had so much money. He started to think about what he could do to save more money. He looked out of his window and saw his car. He loved his car. It made his life so much easier. He sat down at his desk and worked out how much money he had and how much more he needed. If he sold his car, he could go traveling sooner. Or he could stick to his original plan, but with the extra money, he would not have to find a job so quickly once he got to Australia. It would be hard to say goodbye to his car, but it made sense. Simon booked his one-way ticket to Australia. Then he worked out when his last day at work would be. He needed his car for his job. He didn't live on a bus or train route, so driving was his only option to get to work. His mum or dad could drive him, but they also had to work during the week. He would have 1 week after finishing his job before he would fly to Australia. He told his parents his plan, and they thought it was a good idea for him to sell his car. It would only be sat on the driveway. A week before Simon was going to leave for Australia, he cleaned his car from top to bottom. He hoovered it, waxed it, and polished it. It was so shiny and clean. He drove the car to a beautiful place and took some photographs. Then, later that night, he made an online advertisement and put his car up for sale. Simon felt proud that he was finally being more sensible with his money. He found it difficult, but he could see that budgeting was really changing his life. The next morning, he woke up to 3 messages from people who wanted to look at his car. He arranged meetings with them all. One of them gave him a very low offer for the car. One wasn't interested, and the other offered him the asking price. He was so happy. The buyer would come back the next day with the cash. Now, Simon didn't have to worry about rushing to get a job in Australia. He would be able to do an organised tour or take a surfing course. He was excited for what the future was going to hold. But one thing he knew for certain was that he was going to keep budgeting. By putting aside money every month, he really made a difference to his finances and his life. Are you saving up for something special? Tell us in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed this lovely English story. Thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.